Hey, I'm Jay Skinner, and you're live right now in the pre-show of the Buyers and Sellers Show. Every Friday morning live at 10:35, and you can always come back for the replays on, just go to my website, thejayskinner.com, and click on the tab for all the shows if you want to see some of the subjects and topics. Anyway, we'll just play some music and let everybody get on board. Oh yeah, you're on the Buyers and Sellers Show. This time it's about customer service. This is part 2, and it's 5 stars. It's golden. That's an A. 4 stars. It's an F. Hey, look at that. Got some Garrett's popcorn from one of the blues capitals of the world, Chicago. Somebody loves me. And we're live. I'm Jay Skinner, and you're on the Buyers and Sellers Show. And today, well, it's all about customer service. 5 stars is an A and 4 is an F. Practical advice and what to do to get it right. I'm going to give you some ideas. This is part 2. So if you were wondering what's part 1 about, check out the previous show. And I'm just excited about our opportunity to be here together. Here we go. Make sure we're all looking good there. Excellent. You can see everything. Look at that. Look, there's my rhino. We'll talk about rhinoceros success one day. I want you to get in and comment. Any thoughts that you have in the course of this are very, very important. If you want to know more about us, just go to thejayskinner.com. Lots of ways to get there. Very accessible. And I'm so happy that you're here. So email wjayskinner@aol.com. Just get online, give me a call. Shall we remember the silver rule? There's 2 rules, the silver rule and the green rule, on which this show and my work is built. Number 1, the silver rule says, do unto your vendors as you want your customers to do unto you. Think about that. And the green rule is, do for yourself what you're asking others to pay you to do for them. Do for yourself what you're asking others to pay you to do for them. Think about that. And I want you to know that a lot of my references today come straight from personal counsel and mentoring from my friend Jeffrey Gitomer, who wrote this book called Customer Satisfaction is Worthless. Customer Loyalty is Priceless. How to Make Customers Love You and Keep Them Coming Back and Tell Everyone They Know. And interestingly enough, I don't know the date on this book, but it was done a long time ago and written in his inimitable style that's so easy and fun to read. And there's a lot of action items and things to do here to test yourself and to get better. And so I highly recommend you getting this book. You just go to Gitomer.com and find the book section and pick this up. And all I can say is it's a great investment if you're interested in learning how to be better at customer service. Put that right there. And let's see if we have any comments here. Please, everyone, get on board. And let's take it. Ron Goodwin says, good morning. Thank you, Ron. I'm so glad you're here. And I know Ron is very customer service and loyal customer savvy. So I'm glad you're here. Certainly be an opportunity for you to chime in. Anyway, look at this. I got my England cup today. There we go. England. Woohoo. Have a cup of coffee. Have a drink. I'll eat my Garrett's after the show. That'll be good. Right now, let's get right into it because I want you to benefit from this work about how to be great at customer service. And one of the things that I want you to recognize is that it's obviously not just common sense. In fact, I kind of do like this. Common sense, not sure what's common. What's common to me might not be common to you. So much of how we act and react and what we know about and what we don't know about comes from our past experience, the books we've read, the people we've met, the lives that we've led. And so what is common sense to you is not necessarily common sense to me. So just like any other craft or skill or science, or if you're a plumber or a doctor, if you're a customer service expert, you need to study your craft and get good at it and become excellent at it. So let's start out with some things. We're just going to go right down the line of some important aspects, and I'll give you some ideas and we'll just move right along. And I want you to write in some comments. If you have any questions, please pose them. But my idea here is that you'll get some ideas and some thoughts about approaching things. And if you're looking for references or you need more information, send me an email. I try to put stuff up here so you can find it online, but don't hesitate to give me a call if this gets you thinking. So first of all, when you're doing some sort of customer service, and today it's not only by telephones, but it's also by email, the same ideas apply. Most of it's transferable, but I do recommend in a customer service or complaint type of arena that if you can respond to an email with a personal telephone call to people, you're going to get to the resolution very quickly and you're going to get that 5 stars. Now, what I say, 5 stars is an A, 4 is an F. We're just about getting 5 stars. And I'll hit off on that. So there we go. Initial reaction and responses to callers or emails with a problem. When someone says, such and such happened to me, and they've called in and they're telling you, and you're the one on the line receiving this complaint or this concern, empathize. But empathize in a way that they'll never forget. Something like this. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I'm going to get that taken care of. We're going to get that taken care of right now, Mr. Customer. So thankful that you brought it up to us. We're going to get that fixed right away. So tell me a little bit more, and we're going to figure out what to do. Now, think about that. So much better to have an enthusiastic, excited, and anxious to make them happy reaction. And that's what it's all about. Now, practice that. Are you doing that now? Are you surprising people with something? I heard this the other day. The thing was Jeffrey. We were on a mastermind call and he was giving some ideas. And they call up and they say, here's my problem, blah, 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 blah. And your reply is, oh, that's my favorite problem. We can fix that quickly. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for calling. Let's get this taken care of. People call up I always say locked and loaded, expecting a fight. And if you give them zero defensiveness, but anxiousness and excitement about the opportunity to help make it right, they're just going to be so happy. We don't even need to talk about those horrible experiences you've already had with tentative customer service people that don't seem to get it, that they need to be all out there trying to help you get it done. And what I want you to know is that your business owner wants you to do whatever it takes to get those 5 stars. And if you say, well, you don't know my owner, then have him call me. Because that bad review can cost him hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars and maybe hundreds of customers. Think about it. When people go to those reviews, well, I was just talking to my wife a minute ago, talking about the topic today. She said, go down to the 4 stars and the 3 stars and see what kind of problems they had and how recent it was. And if there's anything fairly recent, and if it's not recent, it's bad enough, I just move to the next one. I do the same thing. You may do the same thing. That's how valuable it is. And I'm sure your business owner is willing to pay just about whatever it takes in order to get that happy customer back, to not only have happy customer and a great review, but customer loyalty and the cool things that they'll say about you, because the review ends up saying, I had a problem and they fixed it and it was awesome. I had a problem with a major big box store and they jumped in there. They did not resist. They just got the facts and took care of me and assured me from the very beginning they'd take care of it. And I will sing their praises forever. Lowe's, thank you. You took great care of me in what could have been a terrible situation. I really appreciate it. Next, delete these attitudes and phrases from your vocabulary and your own thoughts. It's like, I'm so busy, and they call up and it's, oh, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do it. Oh, I'm so busy. Or I need to check with the manufacturer. If you're a distributor, you're the manufacturer. You can't blame it on the people you're buying the products and reselling them from. The customer doesn't care where you got it. They bought it from you. It's your responsibility. You're the manufacturer for all practical purposes. You can't blame other people. You can't talk about, well, I'll try. I'll see if I can fix that. Or let's see what they say. The customer says, well, I need you to replace this and blah, blah, blah. Well, really, it's kind of crazy because hopefully you don't have them asking you to do it or telling you what they need you to do because you've been defensive, but instead you've arrived at this together in a happy way. Maybe you suggested it right away. Well, how about we just send you a new one? Before they even say it. That's where you want to go. Not like, well, tell me the problem and I'll see what they say. Or, well, it's company policy that we blah, 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 blah. You might as well just stick a knife in their heart. It's company policy. Don't you know? It's company policy is not a reason why a customer wants to, it's not a reason customers need to hear why you're not going to work with them to try to fix the problem that they got that you put on them. Or, hey, look, if it's not your fault, it's still not worth the bad review. It's not worth analyzing the whole situation till you die to figure out whose fault it is. You've been around long enough. They tell you, here's the problem. Here's what it is. Okay, I get it. Let's send you a new one. Let's fix this. We'll get it taken care of. What do I do with the old one? Give it to Goodwill. Just give it to Goodwill. They don't have time to wrap it up, put it back on a pallet and send it out, or go down to UPS and pack it and everything like this and go through all that hassle. You sent them something that was defective or had a problem or didn't meet their needs. Fix it. How many times I know I'm going to use Amazon as an example right now, that something comes to me, it's not quite right. I go in there, I want to return it. And it says, just keep it. We'll refund your money. Thank you very much. Just like that. I don't even have to talk to anyone. Very nice. Sharon, good morning. So this morning is going to be Sharon's consecutive live. Those of you, all of you are probably following my niece Sharon Hoffmeister that has a company of her own and works online and sells these wonderful beauty products and fun stuff. And she does this all online. You can find her at SharonHoffmeister.com. And get online, see some of her shows. She's entertaining, she's fun, and she's got great stuff. And today's going to be 994 consecutive days online. And then she hasn't skipped Christmas, Sundays, anything. Every single day she's been online. And I'm very proud of you. And next Thursday, going to be 1,000 consecutive shows. Congratulations, Sharon. Thanks for keeping us up. Okay, so stop making anything that sounds like an excuse or setting anything up in the conversation with people that sounds like you're getting defensive or you're trying to figure out whose fault it is, because in the mind of the caller, or if you're doing this by email, it's especially easy for people to get going back and forth in some negative thing. Don't let that happen. Think. Now, have ping pong conversations to keep the customer engaged and show you care. Do you know about ping pong conversations? Think about how you play a good game of ping pong with a friend, where you're not either one of you trying to win. He might be trying to win. Maybe you're better than them, but you just keep the ball going back and forth. Be polite, have fun, have good conversation, and most of all, make it a wonderful customer experience. If you get online, unlike here where I'm doing most of the talking, if you get online or on the telephone and you just start blah 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 blah, the people are just gonna like lose it. Why are you talking so much? Why don't you say something like we started at the beginning? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. We're gonna get that taken care of. So tell me more. Tell me more about it so we can get it lined up and figure out just exactly what the right thing is to do here. Oh, great. And in the course of the conversation, you may say, okay, Mr. Customer, what would be a good resolution here? How do you think is the best way for us to handle this? What would you like to see happen? What's their wish list? Hey, there we go. Gregory J. Sneed, financial coach. Hey, Gregory, so happy you're here, coach. Good to see you. And Tanner Kirby's, hey, hi, Jay, very nice to be with you every Friday. It's nice to have you. And I watch you on LinkedIn and you're out there too. And I'm proud to know you and from the proud and beautiful country of Turkey. We have people all over the world, everyone, and it's just so marvelous to have them. So I'm going to take not a full break, but right here, we talked about ping pong conversations, and I hope you understand that. But in the course of some of this conversation that I'm giving you, and we talked about common sense earlier, and I said, well, it's not necessarily so common. Well, I want you to know that in this book, I'm going to say it's there's a test, an attitude test. You can see I've taken it, and it's on page 211 and 212 of this book right here. And I really recommend that you get this if it was only for the attitude test, because you can get in here and it says, how positive is your attitude? See, how positive is your attitude? And this is from Jeffrey Gitomer, part 1, part 2. It took me all of 8 minutes to take this test and score it for myself. And what did I find out? I found out I'm not as positive as I thought. Can you imagine? Yep, I have my days, I think. I do. And what I don't know or didn't realize was the specific areas of improvement. And so when I did it, I followed the rules for the attitude scorecard and I added it up. and I got my score, it said, hey, it's like you're in a big club of people who think they're really positive attitude guys, but you could use some improvement. And then it showed me how to go back over this and identify the areas that I can work on. It's like, man, and that wasn't hard. And in order to do this test, score it, understand what it means, and then go back and look at the specific areas I can be better at. And then look at this daily dose of attitude. There's a book list and this you can tell this is an older book, a tape list, which would now be blogs, CDs, and online books on tape and things like that, of areas and books that you can read and listen to help feed yourself and get better and smarter. And it was fun because many of these were books that I know and I've read. It's like you've got The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. Let's see, here's another, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. The Sales Bible, Jeffrey Gitomer. That's my friend. Jim Rohn things, Wayne Dyer, Earl Nightingale. These are talks. I talk about Glenn Turner, Dennis Waitley. And then you add that to who are some of the other greats? How about Cathcart? How about Alessandra? Oh, did I mention Tony Alessandra, Dr. Tony Alessandra? Well, guess what? He wrote The Platinum Rule. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But he's going to be on my show July 8th live. He's one of my mentors and friends for many years. And it's Dr. Tony Alessandra. And he, along with Jim Cathcart and Brian Tracy and a lot of other peoples, were some of those guys on the Nightingale Conant, the Earl Nightingale Conant tapes back in the 80s and 90s. And it's like, these guys are legends of behavioral dynamics and helping people get smart and get good and get positive and get successful. And we're going to have one of the legends on with us July 8th. So remember that date. Hey, looks like I have a comment here. Ron Goodwin says, if your business only gets positive reviews, consumers might question if they are legitimate. Amazon has a huge uptick in fake reviews. Robert Cialdini argues that a 4.5 or 4.9 might have more positive influence. There you go. Good thought. Interesting. Let's see. John Godwin says Dale Carnegie also. Oh my gosh, yes. Dale Carnegie, great talker. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think that's his stuff, isn't it? And a lot of influence there in my life with the Dale Carnegie program. So yes, thank you for that, John Godwin. So keep chiming in here, everyone. I'm very interested in your thoughts. And let's see, let's go back here. We talked about ping pong conversations. Let's look at number 4. Always use reply to all on emails. If an email comes in and there's people copied, then hit reply to all. Now, I know some of you that's difficult. You want to keep it private, or maybe you don't want everybody to see what you're saying or how you word it. Get over it. Something I learned a long time ago from some really smart Japanese Kaizen business people is you let that list grow, and everybody that's interested in that project, you add your people as is appropriate, let the other party add theirs as is appropriate, so that everyone knows what's going on with the issue. Now, in the area of customer service like this, hopefully you don't have much back and forth. I don't want to have 10 emails going back and forth where you're talking and they're talking, you're explaining, they're explaining, and it looks like you're trying to find fault and somehow get out of responsibility. If an email comes in, like I said, the best thing is pick up the telephone and call those people and leave a nice message if they don't answer, because they might not recognize your number, and give them a way to contact you immediately right now. Give them your cell phone, be personal. Let's go. Don't worry about giving them your cell phone. They're not going to call you all the time and become your new best friend. If they do, great. And if it's that bad, you can block them. They'll never know. But seriously, Give them your cell phone if you can. Why not? Get personal. It's all personal. Let everyone know what's happening in your email replies. Now, in some big projects and things, there's a lot of people just always hit reply to all. That's what the delete key's for. If someone's on it and they don't want to see it, they can take themselves off. Just don't add people in the other guy's organization, and hopefully they won't add people in yours, but you grow it if you need to, and always hit reply to all. Helps them see that you've got depth in your organization. Now, oh, did I mention Dr. Tony Alessandra that's going to be on our show together on July 8th live? Yep. And you want to practice the platinum rule. Now, you often think and hear about the golden rule, which is do unto others as you want to be done unto, but it doesn't exactly apply if you're doing under people that didn't grow up like you, don't have the same values and ideas and thoughts. And so you could do things with them and express yourself to them in a way that you would think is wonderful, that might be offensive or cause them to think you're being defensive or who knows what bad. But rather, we want you to do unto others the way they want to be done unto. And so scope out how they are, what they do, and just understand that in the course of all this conversation, in the name of customer experience and great customer service, there is no room for defensiveness or pride on behalf of either yourself or the company. So if the customer is going off crazy and they're cussing and everything else, let them go. Well, don't say, well, I don't like that language. Forget it. Let them cuss at you. It doesn't matter. I don't even know what happened, why they're cussing at you. Just let her go. Stay calm. Work with them. And quite frankly, if you open up the conversation properly at the beginning, it'll never escalate to that level. You're very much in charge of how these conversations go by understanding and scoping out how the person on the other end of that phone is and how you can best relate and talk to them. And later on in some future things, including my work with Dr. Tony Alessandra on July 8th, we're going to be talking about the 4 quadrants, behavioral quadrants, and some of the things there that he taught me back in the early 80s after his book that he published in 1979 that changed my life forever and continues to be foundational for me of how to look at and assess how people are using the 4 quadrants. Some of you may very well be familiar with that. And so there you go. Number 7, learn how to end calls that have run their course and is getting chatty. Okay, so if you're a chatty person, surely you know it. If you don't have the self-awareness to know that you're chatty and that you are inclined to going on and on and on and on and on, talk to somebody and just own it. And then understand that at work, you don't have time in your cubicle to be chatty. You don't have time on the phone with customers to be chatty. You may have a little chatty up front as part of your rapport establishment, but you need to get on to business and get the problem solved, taken care of, big smiles so you get the 5 stars, and away you go. So do you know how to end a conversation? I know some people that will not hang up a telephone on other people or in the conversation or proactively in a conversation. Maybe you know some people like that. Maybe you're one of them. Here's a tip. It's easy. It won't be easy for you, but you're going to need to force this and practice it. All this you may have to practice. In fact, I recommend role playing and practicing and just trying this out and doing it, and tape record your calls. Somehow record your calls so you know what you sound like and get good at this. But something like, well, Mr. Smith, looks like we've got everything covered here. So as long as you agree, I need to get onto this next call. And hopefully they're hearing it ringing in the background. It's probably one of the easiest ways to get off. Excuse me, we've got it all taken care of. Is there anything else we need to cover? That's a pretty good signal that it's time to end the call. It's not impolite. You're taking care of business. Well, Mr. Smith, Really enjoyed talking to you. Glad we could get this taken care of. Now, you let me know if anything else, if it doesn't work out, and track that shipment, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. And we appreciate that 5-star review. It's like, great, conversation can be over. And I think a lot of times there might be a rule is you never hang up on someone, so they can't say that you hung up on a customer. So, it's like, don't hang up on them. But if it's a natural end, they say goodbye, you say goodbye. It's all right. Here we go. Let's look at the next one. I don't like you to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry is like a personal problem, like you're a sorry individual. If you say it enough, you'll start to believe it. And there are times that you can apologize on behalf of the company. And it's something like this. Yeah, I need to apologize that this happened at all, Mr. Smith. And here's what we're going to do. Please don't be apologizing unless you got an action item to follow it up. Otherwise, it's empty. So in the course of, we're going to take care of this, or that's my favorite problem, we're going to take great care of it. I apologize, Mr. Smith. We're going to get that taken care of. Should never have happened. Now, were you sitting here listening and thinking, I can't do all that. They won't let me. I have to get permission to squeak. Well, if you're in that sort of a really difficult position at work where you can't resolve problems on the first call with people, then one is, I think you need to go back and talk to the people that are prohibiting that and say, is there any way that I can get some guidelines that I can resolve things on the first call right now based upon a dollar amount or something? And please, let's don't make it based upon that we're going to settle so that we don't lose any money. I will tell you what, most business owners that understand what I'm talking about here will tell you they'd be happy to lose $100, $500, or $1,000 to avoid that bad review, because it can cost them so much more in the future. And let them say, well, listen, if you can resolve the whole thing for under $1,000 of new expenditure, plus eat what we've already done, just resolve it, get it done, keep them happy. No resistance and no fear of reprisal. It's not on you. And just have them make that. Now, that's a good company policy. You don't say policy to your customer, but it'd be nice for you to have one that you can do, and you're not going to have any problem when you institute it. And if for some reason they don't like their policy, then they're not going to get mad or with you, but they simply say, well, we need to make some adjustments. Super. And then I think I would avoid the word escalation. If you do have some sort of a problem that, we're going to get this taken care of. I do, however, need to get some conversation with my boss or some other people. I mean, it's just the truth. So, Mr. Smith, if you be happy to hold, that'll be great. Or just give me your number. Let's make sure I've got your number. I'll call you right back, and I'm going to get this resolved. And then your management people or whoever needs to approve whatever you're going to do needs to be available. And if your direct supervisor is not available, you can't wait for days and hours and weeks. Then whoever their boss is needs to be available, and whoever their boss is too. And you need to be able to walk into the owner of the company and say, hey, I got one here. It's like boom, 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 boom. Just tell me it's okay. We're going to resolve it. They were on the phone 15 minutes ago, and we don't want we don't want to let any moss grow under our feet. Have this resolution process fast so people go, wow. You want to wow them. And hopefully they'll set the bar high enough that you can resolve the problem on the first call right then, right now. Give them what they want. Everyone will be happy. So a lot of things that I've talked about have come from Gitomer's blog. A lot of the answers, and there's so much more there. And I referenced his book, and I recommend you to do that, to look at that. And here's the actual link. When something goes wrong, what do you say? Gitomer blog, and if you can screenshot that, take a look at it at Gitomer.com. You'll have some fun with that and very specific and interesting responses about many of the things I just talked about. You should get on that. Looks like I got some more comments. What do we have here? There we go. And let's see. Ron says, remind yourself of the lifetime value of the customer. It's okay to lose money on a deal if you or your company screwed up. Amen. Thank you, Ron. And Ron owns a company. He runs a big business. You've seen me here with some t-shirts. Remember the one the other day said, go live or die? Ron's company made that shirt. And Ron is, he's become a friend of mine over the last few years. And I see great integrity there and his willingness to take care of problems and go over and above if it happens. Doesn't happen that much. I mean, I always recommend don't have problems to resolve, but when you have them, or if it's not really your fault, but it's perceived by your customer to be something that you should be taking care of, just take care of it. I know Ron agrees. Lifetime value of that customer. So customer satisfaction is worthless compared to customer loyalty. So of course, we all understand the idea of customer satisfaction. We understand even more that the value of that happy customer that we're talking about making on today's show is that customer loyalty and getting that 5-star review. What do we say? 5 stars is an A, 4 is an F. I'm so glad you came today. I'm Jay Skinner. This has been the Buyers and Sellers Show. Come back next Friday, same time, same channel. Get online, get on my website, check out all the other shows. So glad you came. Love your comments. Look forward to seeing you next week. I'll play us out with a little 5'2". Well, 5'2", eyes of blue. Oh, what that 5 foot could do. Has anybody seen my gal? Turned up hose, turned up nose, that's it. Flapper, yes sir, she's one of those. Has anybody seen my gal? Thanks for coming. See you next week. Bye now.